Dawn breaks over the rugged landscape as a small group of humans emerges from the mouth of a limestone cave. Their day has already begun, some scanning the horizon for game, others gathering kindling for the fire that never fully dies out. But what exactly filled the hours of our Paleolithic ancestors?
The fuck, caveman? This nigga said our ancestors. Nah, buddy. Who's yourself in that motherfucker? I ain't even sure if I want to be included in that motherfucker. Did see the video, and I'll see if I want to be identified with the statement that you just made.
The popular image of cavemen dragging women by the hair and clubbing mammoths hardly captures the complexity of their daily existence. So how did they spend their waking hours when survival was a full-time occupation?
Good question.
When we speak of cavemen, we're referring to humans who lived during the Paleolithic period, spanning from approximately 2.6 million years ago to about 12,000 years ago. This represents over 99% of human history, a time before agriculture, before cities, before...
Quick question though. So, okay, time, we know that time moves. Time, you know what I'm saying? And with the movement of time, there's always some change, right? With the movement of time, there's always some change. Seasons, things like this, patterns, things come, things go. You feel me? Things begin, things end. So now, back when people was cavemen, right? Is it a memory thing that people are relying on? Because there was no there was nothing to capture cavemen. There was no like picture phones, like video cameras. Picture phones? What the fuck? That's just, yo, my fault. It's early in the morning, bro. It's like, it's like 4 a.m. So they didn't have cameras, though. You know what I'm saying? They didn't have picture cameras, video cameras, blah blah. But there seems to be like this idea of like how the caveman looked, how the caveman looks like. What the fuck? I can't even say this shit right. There's this idea of how the caveman looked like, right? With the hair all over their bodies and the little mouth. Did you see that the first picture, his mouth, right? When they showed the first caveman over there, this piece right here, this piece. That shit was like this long. Huh? This piece right here was like this long. I feel like, yeah, mine is just like the size of like my finger right there, like that. That niggas was like this long, bro. Like, was the size of like my palm. Bro, let me show y'all what I'm talking about, bro, for y'all. You know what I'm saying? But y'all think maybe I get too fried. You know what I'm saying? Maybe end up not being able to know what I'm talking about. This nigga, bro. What the fuck? What? Nah, hell no. What the fuck is this? Right? It's an example. Okay, now, again, we do have different variations of kinds of people, kinds of creation, kinds of forms. You feel me? But this sucker right here, dog, weird. So, I'm just asking for that sake, OT. How do people know this idea of how cavemen moved? How, because there's also this one, right? Where this bitch looked drunk.
Humans who lived during the Paleolithic period.
Check this.
Spanning from approximately...
There's this bitch that looks drunk with the crazy hair. Like this one. Like she just got, you know what I'm saying? Like she just got some BBC, like ran through now. You know what I mean? Like heavy round of BBC. Now she like so weak. She kind of low-key disorientated. Like, how do you have an idea that these niggas like used to do this? They used to move this. This was their movement. You feel me? That was them too. Like with the whole thing. Maybe they trimmed their shit down. Maybe they could cut. I don't know, somehow. Maybe they didn't have facial hair back when I don't know, bruh. Okay, obviously they had facial hair because apparently, according to the theories, right, they were more outdoors and shit like that. So obviously maybe your skin develops more hair because of that, maybe. Natural selection, perhaps. How do niggas know, bro? That's what I'm saying. Is it like the picture that we have in terms of when we think, or when we try and express the idea of what shit was like back then. You know what I'm saying? But how do you know how we look if there was no pictures or anything like that? Because think about, okay, cool. Even if maybe the ideas, they were passed down from generation to generation. Maybe the first, for example, generation 1 right here, right, gets told no. They were verbally, the shit was verbally described, right? The shit was verbally like expressed. So these niggas ended up, okay, they had the verbal expression, right? The verbal illustration. They probably now tapped into drawing the shit. Then the second generation is gonna maybe draw it on the rocks, right? Third generation is gonna maybe gather whatever that was drawn on the rocks. You know what I'm saying? Trying to draw, but it's like broken telephone, nigga. You're not gonna tell me you're gonna get exactly what you was told. Try and draw it. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna get exactly every detail. Feel me? So this might just be like a made up, like literally, a fictional, just like idea, fictional just form of how. You know what I'm saying? Cause shit is like, man. That's why in the beginning of this video that I'm reacting to right now, I was like, yo, I don't think I necessarily want to be included in the statement of you saying, yo, our forefathers. What the fuck, caveman forefathers? Bro, I don't even know if my people was like in them caves like that, you know what I'm saying? So anyway,
Our understanding of daily life
Alright, no more pauses, let's go.
during this era comes from multiple lines of evidence. Archaeological sites preserve stone tools, hearths, food remains, and occasionally more perishable items like textiles or wooden implements. Cave art and portable artifacts provide glimpses into their symbolic world. Ethnographic studies of recent hunter-gatherer societies offer additional insights, though we must be cautious about direct comparisons across such vast time spans. The Paleolithic wasn't a monolithic experience. It varied dramatically by region, climate, and time period. Early Homo habilis living in Africa 2 million years ago had a profoundly different daily experience than Cro-Magnon humans painting the caves of France 20,000 years ago. Climate was perhaps the most significant factor determining daily routines. During the Ice Ages, when much of Northern Europe
But I'm not
and
gonna
Asia
lie, and it's questions like this that I'm asking, where, you know what I'm saying, people, like the broken telephone effect, where people now is like, yo, was Jesus black, was Jesus white? You know what I'm saying? For an example. It's like now we end up having questions like that, and then we end up having a whole, or how can I put it, like just like industry maybe, or like people trying to like get into people's minds. Because at the end of the day, bro, I feel like mind control is the most, obviously having someone else's mind is the most valuable thing you could have. And you know what I'm saying, like as in being able to control that, influence that somebody else's mind, make them do shit. It's like you got like the highest value that you could get. You know what I'm saying? Not their money, not their whatever. Them giving you money is a result that you got their mind. You feel what I'm saying? So now it's like people get to other people's minds using misconceptions, misunderstandings. Like, was Jesus black? Was Jesus white? Now they politicize shit like religion. You feel me? What is this? Spirituality. Because you know what I'm saying? Look, I mean, I'm talking about like what the Jesus archetype like stood for and symbolizes. You know what I'm saying? Of which, you know what I'm saying, the obvious thing that's coming to my mind is like the religion. So you get like religious people that just politicize that whole industry, get into people's minds. That way they can get into your pockets. That way they, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I don't know. It's just
strategies than in warmer periods or regions. Groups living near coasts or rivers developed fishing technologies, while those in forests or grasslands focused on different prey and plant resources. What unites all Paleolithic peoples is their lifestyle as hunter-gatherers, acquiring food through a combination of hunting animals and gathering wild plants. So let's step back in time and examine what filled the hours, days, and seasons of our Paleolithic ancestors. The Paleolithic day began with the rising sun. Unlike our artificial lighting and rigid schedules, these early humans followed natural rhythms of light and dark, adjusting to seasonal variations. Morning typically began with rekindling the previous night's fire. Archaeological evidence from sites like Terra Amata in France, dated to 380,000 years ago, shows carefully maintained hearths, critical for warmth, light, protection from predators, and cooking. Starting a fire from scratch was challenging. Most groups maintained embers or slow-burning materials overnight.
Mornings were likely devoted to essential tasks requiring daylight. The band would assess immediate needs. Was food running low? Did tools need repair? Were there signs of game nearby? Water collection was a daily necessity, typically from nearby streams or springs, carried in containers made from animal bladders, woven baskets, or eventually pottery. Rather than rigid schedules, Paleolithic life followed a pattern of immediate return activities and delayed return planning, preparing for future challenges. Evidence from sites like Gesher Benot Yaakov in Israel from nearly 800,000 years ago shows remarkable knowledge of seasonal plant cycles, suggesting sophisticated planning. The day's main activities varied by season and immediate needs, but food acquisition dominated. Adult males often focused on hunting, especially larger game, while women typically gathered plant foods and hunted smaller animals. However, this division wasn't rigid. Archaeological evidence suggests considerable flexibility in gender roles. Midday might include food preparation, tool maintenance, or rest during intense heat. As the day progressed, hunters returned with game, when successful of course, and gatherers with plant foods. As daylight waned, the community gathered around the fire. This evening time likely included storytelling, planning, and social bonding. Obtaining food was the primary occupation of Paleolithic peoples. Hunting large animals required considerable skill and coordination. Early humans likely began as opportunistic scavengers, but by 500,000 years ago at sites like Boxgrove in England, we see evidence of organized hunting. A horse shoulder blade from this site bears a clear spear wound, demonstrating direct hunting rather than scavenging. Early Paleolithic hunters used simple hand axes and wooden spears. By 400,000 years ago, humans at Schöning in Germany were crafting sophisticated wooden spears perfectly balanced for throwing. The introduction of spear throwers around 30,000 years ago dramatically increased range and power, while bow and arrow technology appeared in some regions by 20,000 years ago. Hunting wasn't always successful, making plant gathering the more reliable food source. Archaeological evidence shows Paleolithic people consumed a wide variety of plant foods: tubers, fruits, nuts, seeds, and leafy greens. Studies of dental calculus from Paleolithic teeth reveal traces of numerous plant species, including various medicinal plants. Plant gathering required extensive knowledge of growth cycles, habitats, and processing techniques. This knowledge was likely passed down through generations, creating sophisticated ecological understanding. The Paleolithic site at Coster in Illinois, dated to approximately 9,000 years ago, shows evidence of fishing using nets and hooks crafted from bone. Seasonal variation dictated rhythms of food acquisition. Spring might focus on gathering eggs and fresh greens, summer on berries and hunting young animals, autumn on nuts and preparing for winter, while winter often relied more heavily on stored foods and hunting. Food storage technologies were limited but crucial. Some groups dried meat to create early forms of jerky. Underground storage pits